midweek update for October the 26th. We're sorry about the lack of a midweek update last week. We were having some technical difficulties, and hopefully we won't have those again and people will actually be watching
Hopefully
this.
not. Technology is great when it works.
Technology is awesome when it works, but we do have a lot of announcements to get to today, so we're going to jump right into those. Brian, you know what we have on Election Day here at First Church?
There's rumor that we have a dinner.
Yeah, it's the 122nd annual Election Day supper. So,
I don't think we'll have anybody that attended the first one.
No, I think that whoever attended the first one is probably at home with the Lord now. But 122 years, there's not a lot of things that last for 122 years.
No, that's a long time.
Yeah, so tickets are available at the door, and they are $10 for all meals. So there's always good pie with that. You know what I wonder? I wonder how much the first Election Day supper meal costs.
That is interesting. I wonder.
If anybody knows how much the first Election Day supper cost, let us know, and we'll put that on the next midweek update. If you have not yet been recruited to volunteer for that and you are interested, you can see Kim Metz. We also need volunteers for Children's Church. It's just a really short time. So following the scripture reading, we now do our children's moment. And then the kids downstairs for about 10 or 15 minutes kind of go over what we're talking about in the sermon. And then they come back up for communion. So it's a pretty light lift. There's no preparation at all needed. We're just looking for some adults to go down and be a friendly face and kind of help maintain order in the children's ministry. We're still looking for a part-time custodian. And also don't forget that Dart Ball is going to be starting up. Well, it has started up, and will have they will have their first game on November the 3rd. So if you have any questions about that, you can see Jim Bowersock.
Yeah.
And I believe that is all the announcements that we have today.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I do want to point out for everyone out there that's watching, again, the Christmas shop registration is coming up.
That's right.
November 1st. So open registration will be November 1st from 5:30 to 7:30. So if you know somebody who is in need this Christmas season, please have them come to the registration or have them talk to Josh or myself, and we can get them signed up that way. But
right.
It is an opportunity for us to, as a church, to be the hands and feet of Jesus and shine the light that we all have out into the world.
And if you're a member of our church and are in need of help this Christmas season, please just see Brian or I. That information is always kept in confidence, and we will set up a shopping time for you to shop anonymously, because we know sometimes it can be hard to admit that we have a need to the people that we're with kind of day in and day out. So if you are in need and are a member of our First Church family, please do not struggle through this Christmas season. We have plenty. We always have plenty, and we desire to walk alongside you in that way. So let us know that as well.
Yeah, that was the only other announcement that I thought of. So
good catch. Well, Brian, I think we have some birthdays this week.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, 'cause you're awesome. Happy birthday to you.
Well, we have several birthdays this week. The first one is Kyla Kohler, Doug Clark, Marty Hilliard, Elena Welch, Hunter Duncan, and Landon Duncan. So we'd like to wish everyone a happy birthday.
Happy birthday, guys. We hope it's a great one. And with us having our tech difficulty last week, we already recorded a question of the week, which I thought was a really good question.
It was a good question.
So rather than record the same question again, we're going to run that one, but know that Brian and I didn't quickly change clothes. And then
No, we didn't.
We're not going to do wardrobe changes for these. So we're going to run that, and then we'll be back with you in a minute. So I believe our question of the week this week is from one of our younger members, and it's a very good question, and it is, how do I know if Jesus is a part of what I am doing or a part of my hobbies? So
That's a good, thoughtful question.
that is a good question, and certainly we know that God takes up all time and space, but that doesn't mean necessarily that God is always with us, because sometimes we can do things where God's like, I'm just going to sit this one out. And so I think one of the ways to tell is if Christ is involved with you in your activity is to gauge how you act and react and carry yourself in the activity that you're doing. So Paul in the book of Galatians talks about these things called the fruits of the Spirit. And it's in Galatians 5. And it says this. It says, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And so I would say if you're doing a hobby or an activity and you can show that you're being loving and joyful and you're filled with peace and patience and gentleness and goodness and faithfulness and self-control, well, that would be a good sign that Jesus is with you in that hobby because his Spirit is producing fruit. If, on the other hand, that activity or hobby causes you to be unloving or unforgiving or not patient or kind, well, it might be a good time to evaluate if that is the best hobby for you or if you just need to make changes to yourself, and then you can engage in that hobby in a better way.
Yeah, I think that's a very valid point. I think that when we do things in life, we do them, right? Our hobbies, we try to find joy in them. Mm-hmm. You don't pick a hobby that you absolutely hate. If you don't like fishing, you don't say, I'm going to go sit by the river and fish for hours on end, because that doesn't bring you peace. It doesn't, so I think living into those fruits of the Spirit and knowing that your hobbies do include the fruits of the Spirit, but also do include Jesus, as the questioner wrote.
Yeah, one of the things that I watch a lot of football as you do, and one of the things that I really love to see is if a football player just hits somebody really hard on the other team, and then they bend down and they help them get back up.
Right.
The point of that game, you can see where it would make you angry and unloving. I mean, it's a very physical game.
It's a physical, violent sport.
And yet there are, I think, Christians that can say, look, I'm playing this because I enjoy it, not because I want to hurt somebody or be mean. And I can show good sportsmanship even in the midst of the activity.
Yeah.
And then I think there are other people that, they may be good Christians, but you tackle me, I'm probably just going to get mad no matter what. So it's a good idea for me to not play a game where I'm getting tackled all the time. Hard to believe, right?
Right.
So we need to put ourselves in positions where God can use us, and if we find that we're not being productive in our hobbies or in our way of doing things, we probably need to think about some changes that we need to make.
Yeah, I would agree.
All right, Brian. Well, I think that's all that we have for this week.
I think so too.
So we hope we hope you all have a great week, and we look forward to seeing you on Sunday.
Have a great week. We'll see you on Sunday.